exactly.
But it's interesting because I think people are fascinated by Moriarty and your relationship to Moriarty. I remember watching it for the first time, getting very excited because I don't think when I first watched it that I knew you were playing Moriarty. So
yeah, probably because I couldn't tell anybody, so probably not. Yeah.
So I think it was really exciting watching that. It's Andrew! It's Andrew!
yeah.
It's like, but what's brilliant about that casting is you're not, if you take Moriarty, he is the perfect villain.
Yeah.
He's flawless.
Yeah.
He's psychopathic.
Yeah.
He is the super villain.
Yeah.
And the only thing that ever causes fear in the greatest detective that has ever been imagined.
Yeah.
And you're not immediate instinctive casting for that.
No, absolutely not.
But that's why you're so brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, because you play his fragility.
Yeah.
And you don't try and talk about Moriarty.
I think it's because
I don't need to talk about Moriarty. You can talk about Moriarty. We're not going to get into that problem again.
Yeah. Well, people are terrified. Some people are really scary, and I think I think people who don't know their own power are really can be quite scary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely.
People who have no boundaries, and people who are sort of self-obsessed and or obsessed. And I think that thing about vulnerability, about having a sort of a chink, that something that leads you to do something completely unpredictable, is scary to me. And I also think the idea of not having too much. They were very good in the show about not overusing the character, and so that with people, when somebody breaks into your house or commits a terrible crime, the fact that you don't know much about them is, rather than the fact that you know everything about them, is the thing that's scary, And I don't know. I don't know.
We were talking earlier, off camera, about exactly what it is that about the relationship between information and love.
Yeah.
And information and fear.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
That the things that we love about people, and maybe we're drawn to love people when there's things about them we don't know.
Yeah.
And as soon as everything's revealed.
Yeah, you think, I don't like this.
I wonder if the same thing works in fear.
I think
that you're
exactly.
frightened about what you don't know, and then when something's explained, it becomes less frightening.
Yeah, you become, exactly. Well, that's why we fear death, the thing that we fear the most.
Yeah.
Because you go, I don't know, and nobody knows. So that's why I think everybody has to be vulnerable in some way. And I think that really dark, the darkness within us, you've got to believe that, I suppose you kind of have to believe that you could be a psych. Well, I had to believe that, and not to play a villain in a weird way, which sounds like a bit of a cliche, because of course you have certain demands of you that, but that you have to think, and also the lightness of somebody being able to be. I always find it frightening when you see dictators sort of laughing and being sort of jovial, and you think, how can that coexist with what you do?
Amazing film.
It's a disconnect.
Amazing film of Mladic talking to a bus full of Serbian Muslims who are effectively on their way to be killed, and he's chatting to the whole bus, and he's incredibly jovial and happy and jolly. When you play, I think about the end of the third episode of series 1, and the side of the swimming pool.
And the swimming pool, yeah.
And just you bring this great sense of fun. But there's part of me that just thinks that must be quite good fun.
Oh, I mean, of course it is.
If you've got your arch enemy and you're strapped them with dynamite,
you've got to have fun. You have to have fun. You have to have fun. And I think that's the thing as well. I think in both, to talk about it, like, is that in series 1 and series 2, I had different jobs to do.
Yeah.
You have to see it in relation to what is required of you within the story. We're telling the story first, and I think in the end of series 1 there was a thing that was required, that actually if you try and layer too much, it doesn't quite work. And actually what you want is to, what I always wanted for him was for him to be totally unpredictable, and So for that reason, I did it a lot of different ways, on that day, and they chose whichever ones they want. So you have to sort of. I very much trusted the filmmakers.
That's fascinating to me, thinking about your stage work as well, not just Alex and Seawall, but thinking about the other work that I've seen you do. In particular, I think one of the best things I saw on stage in the last 18 months was, I'm going to have to be reminded of the title, The Noel Coward of the
Designed for Living.
Designed for Living.
Yeah.
And particularly the scene everybody talks about when we talk about that great night out in the theatre was the scene with you and Tom Burke.
Oh, the drunk scene.
With the drunk scene, where you start off, for people who've not seen it, you start off completely sober.
Yeah.
And it's kind of two quite frosty, not enemies, but two people with quite a frosty relationship with one another.
Yeah.
And over the course of a 20-minute scene, get progressively drunk.
Yeah.
How locked is that performance for you? For you and Tom, when you're playing with another actor, is it locked, or is it completely reinvented every time you play?
It's not completely reinvented, but I absolutely loved acting with him.
Yeah.
And and it's such a brilliant scene. It was a pain in the ass to rehearse.
Yeah.
Because you start off and you just think, we're never going to get through. We had to drink 2 bottles of sherry in 10 minutes.
Were you drinking water or apple juice or something?
So they put some revolting Coke or something.
Which is
Coke
pretty
and
hot.
sugar
It's a lot of drinking.
Yeah, it's a load of drinking. It was loads of drinking. And so then you have to learn, do you have a big glass to have a lid? So it's all quite technical. And then you sort of think, oh, am I gonna, is this funny? I don't know. And then you do it in front of an audience, and of course they go, no, I mean, that is, Noel Coward knows how to make them laugh.
Yeah.
And you think, is that a funny word? And then you think this is, and it's cumulative because there's a secret that the audience, because we don't know we're getting drunk, they know we're getting drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're
great.
drunk. You think
Great.
the way that people don't go, I don't know, but the audience are going, they're looking at you and they think, this is going to kick in. And it's just the playing with, because what happens is that you get drunk suddenly.
Mm.
People get like they're speaking normally, and then the second later, they're
great.
totally,
Great, very good.
fucked up.
Very
so,
good.
It
I've been
changes.
there. I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So in answer to your question, it is fixed somewhat. I think you need to sort of change it around, and I think it's about the age-old things, listening and seeing what's actually happening rather than something that happened last night that you have to try and do
Very
again.
good.
Something that's totally live, and I think the audience can smell if there's chemistry between two people, and we had a lot of laughs. I mean, we had
really
too much fun.
brilliant.
He's a brilliant actor.
He's brilliant.